There was one attendant for perhaps 50 severely and profoundly retarded children. Lying on the floor, naked and smeared with their own feces, they were making a pitiful sound, a kind of mournful wail that it's impossible for me to forget.
Hidden behind the walls of an unassuming building in Staten Island, New York, lay one of the darkest secrets of America's healthcare system. Willowbrook State School was supposed to be a sanctuary for children with intellectual disabilities. Instead, it became a living nightmare. In 1947, Willowbrook State School opened its doors as a facility for children with intellectual disabilities. With promises of care, education, and support, it became home to over 6,000 residents at its peak. But behind the promises was a reality of overcrowding, neglect, and abuse. By the 1960s, Willowbrook had become a warehouse for children society didn't know how to care for. Staff were overworked, residents were crammed into filthy rooms, and basic hygiene was neglected. Diseases like hepatitis spread rapidly, and children were left to sit in their own waste for hours, sometimes days. The world outside Willowbrook remained unaware until 1972, when young journalist Geraldo Rivera entered the facility with a hidden camera. What he found shocked the nation. Emaciated children left to fend for themselves, naked and covered in filth. Rivera's expose brought the horrors of Willowbrook into the public eye, sparking outrage and demands for change. As if the neglect wasn't enough, Willowbrook was also the site of controversial medical experiments. From the 1950s to the 1970s, researchers deliberately infected children with hepatitis to study the disease. Many parents were coerced into giving consent, unaware of the full scope of what their children would endure. Geraldo's expose was the beginning of the end for Willowbrook. Families of residents joined forces with activists to demand justice. Lawsuits were filed, and in 1975, the Willowbrook Consent Decree was signed, promising better care and the eventual closure of the institution. After years of public pressure, Willowbrook officially closed in 1987. But the scars left on the residents and the lessons about institutional care remain. Many former residents were reintegrated into society, but some never recovered from the trauma they endured.